last Sunday. It's really wonderful, Dr. Harper. In just 2 short years, you've taken on the spirit of Brooklyn.
Oh, that's very gratifying, Miss Brooklyn.
You see, living next to the church all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go, and the spirit of Brooklyn, we always say, is friendliness. And your sermons aren't so much sermons as friendly talks.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Well, have I met him yet?
No, dear, not yet. Are the biscuits good?
Fully.
Would you care for another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
Oh, thank you. I'm afraid I'll have no appetite for dinner now. I always eat too many of your biscuits, just to taste that lovely jam.
But you haven't tried the quince. We always put a little apple with it to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
Well, we'll send you over a jar.
No, you keep it here so I can be sure to have your biscuits with you.
Well, I just hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. What with all this war trouble? It may not be very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler isn't a Christian.
If only Europe were on another planet.
Did you say Europe, sir?
Yes.
Point your gun the other way.
Okay.
Of course, there's your danger. There's your enemy, Japan.
Oh, why, yes. Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, no, Aunt Abby. Let's talk about Europe, and more talk about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war. Would you care for more tea, dear?
Oh, thank you, Aunt Abby.
Dr. Harper.
No, thank you. I must admit, Miss Abby, war and violence seem far removed from these surroundings.
Oh, it is peaceful here, isn't it?
Peaceful, yes. The virtues of another day are all here in this room. The gentle virtues that went out with candlelight and good manners. No taxes.
This is one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as it was when Grandmother Brewster built and furnished it, or except for the electricity. And we use it as little as possible. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in.
I can understand that. Your nephew Mortimer seems to live only by electric light.
Oh, but the poor boy has to work so late. Oh, I understand he's taking Elaine with him to the theater again tonight. And Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later.
Delighted.
We are so glad it's Elaine Mortimer takes with him to the theater.
Well, it's a new experience for me, waiting up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Oh, Dr. Harper, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well, it's not that I...
Oh, we'd feel so guilty if you did. Sister Martha and I mean. After all, it was here in our home that your daughter met Mortimer.
Of course, Miss Abby, and so I'll say immediately that I believe Mortimer himself to be quite a worthy gentleman. But I must also admit that I have watched the growing intimacy between them with some trepidation. For what reason, Miss Abby?
Oh, you mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
Stomach?
His dyspepsia. He's bothered with it, so the poor boy.
No, Miss Abby. I'll be frank with you. I am speaking of your nephew's unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? But Dr. Harper, Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, I know, but dramatic critics are constantly exposed to the theater. And I don't doubt but what some of them do develop an interest in it.
Oh, well, not Mortimer. You need have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Yes, he writes awful things about the theater. And you can't blame him, the poor boy. He was so happy writing about real estate, which he really knew something about. And then they just made him take this dreadful night position.
My.
But as Mortimer says, the theater can't possibly last much longer anyway. And in the meantime, it's a living. I think that in a year or two, the theater will... Oh, dear. Who could that be? Oh, no, Teddy, dear. Thank you, but I'll get it. Oh, Officer O'Hara.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
Again. And how are you, Mr. Klein?
Very well, Miss Brewster.
Well, gentlemen, what news have you brought me?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Splendid. Eddie, gentlemen.
But you know Dr. Harper.
Sure, hello, Dr. Harper. We come for the toys for the Christmas fun pack.
Oh, yes.
That's a splendid work you men do. Fixing up discarded toys to give poor children a happier Christmas.
Oh, it gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station. You get tired of playing cards. Then you start cleaning your gun, and the next thing you know, you shot yourself in the front.
Teddy, will you go upstairs and bring down that box from your Aunt Martha's room? How's Mrs. O'Hara today? Mrs. O'Hara's been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
She's feeling better now. She's still a little weak.
I'm going to get you some beef broth to take to her.
Father, now you've gone to too much trouble already.
Oh, we just made it this morning. Martha's taking some to poor Mr. Vinitsky right now. It'll only take me a minute, so sit down, be comfortable, all of you.
She really shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice, and for nothing. They don't even care how you vote.
When I received my call to Brooklyn and had moved in next door, my wife wasn't well. And when she died, for months before that, well, if I know what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I have known the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised not to do that. But I must call a meeting of my cabinet to get the release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night, and then the neighbors would raise Cain with us. They're a little afraid of him anyway.
Oh, well, he's perfectly harmless.
Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people he could think he was.
It's a damn shame. A nice family like this, hatching a cuckoo.
Well, his father, the old girl's brother, was some sort of genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather. Seems to me I heard he was a little crazy, too.
Oh, yeah, he was crazy, like a fox. He made $1 million.
Really? Here? In Brooklyn?
Patent medicine. He was a sort of a quack. Old Sergeant Edwards knew him. He had a clinic upstairs here. He experimented on people.
I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally, too.
Yeah, the boys at the department never bothered him too much because he was so handy to have around on autopsies, particularly poisonous.
Whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life, thank God for that.
Oh, not that they'd ever spend a penny on themselves.
Oh, I'm well acquainted with their charity.
Oh, you don't know the tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, we were trying to trace this old man, but we never did find him. Well, by the way, did you know there's a renting agency that has this house on its list for furnished rooms? They don't actually rent rooms, but you can sure bet whoever comes here looking for a room goes away with a good meal and a few dollars in their kit.
It's just their way of digging up someone to do something nice for them.
Oh, well now, isn't this nice?
Oh, Miss Brewster?
Hello, Officer O'Hara, Dr. Harper, Mr.
Hello,
Clyde.
Miss Brewster. We stopped in for the Christmas tour.
Oh, yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. Oh, they wear out. But they're all packed.
Well, the colonel went up to get him that. It seems the cabinet had okayed.
Oh, yes, of course. I do hope Mrs. O'Hara's better.
Oh, much better now. In fact, her sister's getting some broth for him.
Oh, we just made it this morning. I took some to a man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, Martha, you're back.
Yes.
How is Mr. Vinitsky?
He's serious, I'm afraid, dear. The doctor was there. He said he's going to have to amputate in the morning.
Oh, could we be present?
No. I asked him, but he says it's against the rules of the hospital.
Well, you couldn't be of any service, and you must spare yourself something.
Here's the broth, Mr. O'Hara. Now be sure it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am.
That's General Miles. I'm retired, gentlemen.
That O'Malley boy's nuts about soldiers.
The Oregon.
Oh, now, Teddy, you're both back.
But the Oregon goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
Oh, but I promised fighting Bob Evans.
Teddy.
Oh, what's the difference what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, Izzy Cohen, we'll be running along now. Thank you very much.
Oh, now, Goodbye.
Well, I'll be getting home.
Charge! Charge the blockhouse!
Go, Doc.
Blockhouse?
Oh, yes, the stairs are always on one hill.
Have you ever tried to persuade him that he's not Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Once, a long time ago. Remember, Martha? We thought if he would be George Washington, it might be a nice change for him. But he just stayed under his bed for days and wouldn't be anybody. And so we'd much rather he be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
Well, if he's happy, and what's more important, you're happy. Oh, you'll see that he signs these.
Well, what are they? Dr. Harper's made all the arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on. Well, why should Teddy sign these now?
Oh, well, it's better to have it all settled. If the Lord should take you away suddenly, we might not be able to persuade Teddy to commit himself, and that would mean an unpleasant legal procedure. Mr. Witherspoon understands that they are to be filed away until the time comes to use.
Well, now, Mr. Witherspoon, who is he?
He's the superintendent of Happydale.
And Dr. Harper's arranged for him to stop by tomorrow or the next day to meet Teddy.
Well, I must be getting along, or Elaine will be over here looking for me.
Oh, well, give our love to Elaine. And Dr. Harper, please don't think too harshly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Oh, did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Well, yes, and dinner's going to be late, too.
So, Abby, why?
Well, Teddy, good news for you. You're going to Panama and dig another mop for the canal.
That's delightful. Bully, just bully. I shall prepare at once for the journey.
Abby, well, I was out.
Yes, dear, I couldn't wait for you. I didn't know when you'd be back and Dr. Harper was coming.
All by yourself.
Oh, I got a long file.
I'll just run right downstairs.
No. There wasn't time, and I was all alone. Well, Martha, just look in the window. Oh, Abby! Oh, grace. Oh, it's Elaine.
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought Father was here.
Well, just this minute. Look, didn't you read it?
No, I took the shortcut through the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet?
Oh, no, dear.
Well, he asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait?
No, won't you sit down?
We really must speak to Mortimer that is doing this to you.
Doing what?
Well, he was brought up to know better. When a young man has taken a young lady out, he should call for her at her house.
Well, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
Well, he's done this too often. We're going to speak to him.
Oh, please don't. After meeting young men whose idea of nightlife was to take me to prayer meeting, it's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
Well, it's comforting to us too, dear, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays that he has to see, well, at least he's with the minister's daughter.
Elaine, you must think of us not having tea cleared away by this time.
Oh, now you just leave those things in the kitchen and then I'll help. Oh, wait for Mortimer. He should be here any minute.
Yes, and Father must have been surprised not to find me at home. I'd better run over and say goodnight to
Well,
him.
it's a shame you missed him, dear.
If Mortimer comes, tell him I'll be right back.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, Aunt Martha.
Darling. Abby! Mortimer's here!
You going somewhere?
Well, I was just going over to tell Father not to wait up for me.
I didn't think that was still being done, even in Brooklyn.
Oh, hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you, dear?
I'm fine, and you look well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
Oh, well, it was yesterday, wasn't it? It's just that we're seeing a great deal of you lately. Well, come sit down.
Abby, let's have something to do in the kitchen. Tea things?
Oh, the tea things. Well, you two just make yourselves at home.
Just make yourselves at home.
Well, can't you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show.
But that'll make it pretty late, won't it?
Not with the little stinker we're going to see tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
You ought to be fair to these plays.
Are these plays fair to me?
I've never seen you walk out in a musical.
That musical isn't opening tonight.
No?
No, darling, you'll have to learn the rules. With the musical, there's always 3 changes of title and 4 postponements. They like it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such a light mind.
No, that's been it. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we join the proletariat in the subway and I listen to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you bring me home in a taxi, and you make a few passes.
Now, just a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Well, I will admit, after the Behrman play, you told me I had authentic beauty. And that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice eyes. And I have, too.
For a minister's daughter, you know an awful lot about life. Where did you learn it?
In the choir ball.
Let me explain that to you sometime, darling. The close relationship between eroticism and religion.
Religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I better tell Father, please, not to wait up for me tonight.
I'll never be able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
No, the only way I'll be able to regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No, I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the legality.
I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where can we get married in a hurry? Say tonight.
I'm afraid Father will insist on officiating.
Oh, God. I'll bet your father could even make the marriage service sound pedestrian.
Are you by any chance writing the review of it?
Forgive me, darling. It's an occupational disease. I may give that play tonight a good notice.
Now, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
Better tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think tonight I'd better tell him to wait up.
I'll telephone Winchell to publish the band.
Nevertheless.
All right. Everything formal and legal, but no later than next month.
Oh, darling, I'll talk it over with Father and set the date.
No, we'll have to see what's in rehearsal first. There will be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Mr. President.
Well, what news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President, the country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama. Panama's the cellar. He keeps locks for the canal down there.
You're so sweet, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy was always my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
Well, there was another brother, Jonathan.
Oh, I've never heard of him. Your aunt's never mentioned.
Well, we don't like to talk about Jonathan. Jonathan left Brooklyn very early, by request. The type of boy who liked to cut worms in two with his teeth. We don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first, and his practice got him into trouble.
Aren't you going to be late for the theater?
Oh, we're skipping dinner, so we don't have to leave for another half an hour.
Oh, well then I'll leave you alone again.
Oh, don't bother, darling. I'm going to run over and speak to Father. Before I go out with you, he likes to pray over me a little bit. I'll be right back.
If that prayer isn't too long, I'd have time to leave you beside distilled water.
Mortimer, that is the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. We knew Elaine would be a good influence for you.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to marry her.
What? Oh, darling. Oh, I'm surprised. Martha, come in here right away. It's the most wonderful news. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married. We had hoped it would happen just like this.
Oh, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy? Oh, just look at her, leaping over those gravestones. Say, what's that?
What, dear?
That statue there. That's a Horrendinid at Carnina.
Oh, that's nothing of the kind. That's Emma B. Stout ascending unto heaven.
No. On Mrs. Stout's left shoulder, that bird. That's a red-crested swallow. I've only seen one of those before in my whole life.
But I don't know how you can be thinking about a bird at a time like this. What with Elaine and the engagement and everything.
Well, it's a vanishing species. Thoreau was very fond of them. Oh, by the way, I left a large envelope around here the other day. It was part of my chapter on my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, if you left it here, it must be here somewhere. Oh, Mortimer, when are you going to be married? What are your plans? plans. Oh, surely there's something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Oh, yes. Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was, dear?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine comes back, I think we ought to have a little celebration. We must drink to your happiness. Martha, isn't there some of that Lady Baltimore cake left? I'll open a bottle of wine. I think it happened right here in this room.
Where could I put that?
Well, with your fiancé sitting next to you tonight, I do hope the play will be something you can enjoy for once. Perhaps it'll be something romantic. What's the name of it?
Murder Will Out.
Oh, dear.
When the curtain goes up, the first thing we'll see will be a dead body.
I left my towel.
Aunt Hattie, you know how we've been meaning to send Teddy to that sanitarium, Happy Dale?
Oh, it's all arranged. Dr. Harper was here today and brought the papers for Teddy to sign. Here they
Oh, he's
are.
got to sign them right away.
Well, that's what Dr. Harper thinks. Then there won't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
He's got to sign them right this minute. Where is he? Down in the cellar? I'll go get
There's
him.
no such hurry as that. No, once Teddy starts work on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything else.
Teddy's got to go to Happy Dale now, today.
No, that's not until after we've gone.
Right away, I tell you, right away!
But Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? As long as we live, we'll never be separated from Teddy.
Listen, darlings, I'm frightfully sorry, but I have some shocking news for you. You know how we've always tried to humor Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Well, he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happy Dale, why he has to be confined.
Oh, Mortimer, why have you suddenly turned against Teddy, your own brother?
You'll have to know sometime, so it might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Oh, nonsense.
There's a body in the window seat.
Oh, yes, dear. We know.
You know?
Oh, yes, dear, but it has nothing to do with Teddy. Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget?
We never dreamed you'd peek.
Well, who is he?
But his name's Hoskins, Adam Hoskins. That's really all I know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
Well, that's all you know about him. Well, what's he doing there? What happened to him?
Well, he died.
Aunt Martha, men just don't get into window seats and die.
He died first.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in the wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in the tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
Oh. So you knew what you'd done and you didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body?
Not at tea. That would have been very nice. Now, Mortimer, you know the whole thing, so just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have a right to our own little secret.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out this afternoon, I stopped in on Mrs. Schultz, and she's doing much better. But she would like us to take Junior to the movies again.
Oh, well, we must do that. Tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, but this time we're going where we want to go. That child is not going to drag me into another one of those scary pictures.
Hello. Hello, Al. City desk. Hello, Al. Do you know who this is? Yes, that's right. Well, look, Al. When I left the office, I told you I was going somewhere. Where did I say I was going? Yes, that's right. Well, it would take me about a half an hour to get there. What time have you got? Yes, I must be here. And Abby and Martha, come in here. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's a body in there!
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Good heavens, I can't turn you over to the police, but what am I going to do?
For one thing, you can stop being so excited.
And for pity's sake, stop worrying. We told you to forget the whole thing.
Forget? My dear Aunt Abby, how can I make you realize that something has to be done?
Oh, now, Mortimer, you behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But Mr. Hotchkiss!
Hoskins, dear.
Well, whatever his name is, you can't just leave him in there.
No, we don't intend to, dear.
No, Teddy's down in the cellar now, digging the lock.
You mean you're going to bury him in the cellar?
Oh, yes, dear, that's what we did with all the others.
No, you can't bury him in the... Others?
The other gentlemen.
When you say others, you mean others? More than one? Others?
Oh, yes, dear. I believe this makes 11 now, doesn't it?
No, dear. This makes 12.
I think you're wrong. I think this is just 11.
No, Martha, dear, because I remember when Mr. Hoskins first came in, it occurred to me he'd make an even dozen.
I don't really think you should count the first one.
Oh, I was counting the first one, so that makes it 12.
Hello? Hello? Oh, hello, Al. It's good to hear your voice. I just...
Anyway, they're all down in the cellar.
Hello? Oh, no, Al. I just called you up because I was feeling a little pirandello. Oh, never mind, Al. You wouldn't know. Look, Al, you've got to get a hold of George. I can't cover that play tonight. No, I'll explain it to you later. Just get a hold of George. I'm telling you, this is my department and I'm running it. Now you get a hold of George. All right, where were we? 12.
Yes, Abby thinks we should count the first one, and that makes 12.
All right. All right. Who was the first one?
Mr. Midgley. He was a Baptist.
Of course, I don't think we can claim full credit for him because he just died.
Well, Martha means without any help from us. You see, Mr. Midgley came here looking for a room.
That was right after you'd moved to New York.
And it didn't seem fair for that lovely room of yours to be going to waste when there were so many people who needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead, left him so forlorn and unhappy.
And we felt so sorry for him.
And then, when his heart attack came, and he sat dead in that chair, looking so peaceful, remember, Martha? We made up our minds then and there that if we could help other lonely old men to find that kind of peace, we would.
And he dropped dead right in that chair. How awful for you.
Oh, no, not really. It was rather like old times. Your grandfather always used to have a cadaver or two around the house. You see, Teddy had been digging in Panama, and he thought that Mr. Midgley was a yellow fever victim.
He had to be buried immediately.
So we all took him down to Panama and put him in the lock. So now you know why we tell you not to worry, because we know exactly what's to be done.
And that's how this whole thing started, that man just walking in here and dropping dead.
Well, of course, we realized we couldn't depend on that happening again.
Do you remember all those jars of poison that had been up on Grandfather's shelves in his laboratory all these years? Well, you know.
So I know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough particularly.
For 1 gallon of elderberry wine, I add 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, 1/2 teaspoonful of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
As a matter of fact, one of our gentlemen found enough time to say how delicious.
Well, I'm going to get things started in the kitchen.
Oh, I wish you could stay for dinner.
Oh, Roger, I'm trying out a new recipe.
No thanks, I couldn't eat a taste.
All right, dear. Well, I'll come and help you. Oh, I feel so much better now. But you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? Oh, Mortimer, how happy you must be. Well, I'll just leave you alone now, dear, with your thoughts.
It's you.
Don't be cross, darling. Father could see I was excited, so I told him about us, and that made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, he's not going to wait up for me tonight.
Look, Elaine, you run along home and I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Well, you know I always call you up every day or two.
But we're going to the theater tonight.
No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Elaine, something's come up.
Well, what, darling? Mortimer, you've lost your job.
No, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight.
But I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, I can't.
Oh, but if we're going to be married...
Married?
Have you forgotten that not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? Oh, yes, I did. Well, as far as I know, that's still on. And you run along home and I'll call you up tomorrow.
You can't propose to me 1 minute and throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house. Will you get out of here?
No, I won't get out of here. Not until I've had an explanation.
Elaine! Hello? Oh, hello, Al. Well, listen, hold on a minute. All right, I know it's important, but just hold on a minute. Listen, Elaine, you're a sweet girl, and I love you very much. But I've got something on my mind now, and I want you to go home and wait until I call.
Don't try to be masterful.
When we're married and I have troubles to face, I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Elaine! 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 Hello, Al. Hello, Al. Hello. Hello.
Doorbell, dear. The telephone. Oh, yes. Won't you come in?
I understand you have a room to rent.
Yes, please, step in.
Are you the lady of the house?
Yes, I'm Miss Brewster. And this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
My name's Gibbs.
Won't you come in and sit down? And, oh, I'm sorry, we were just setting the table for dinner.
Hello, Al, city desk. Al, city desk.
Won't you sit down?
I'm sorry, wrong number.
I'd really like to see the room.
Is Cook in your home?
I haven't got a home. I live in a hotel. I don't like it.
Well,
Hello,
you're
city
very
desk.
Brooklyn people.
I haven't got it.
Well, Arthur, you've come to just the right house. Won't you sit down?
Hello, Al. It's Mort. Yes, we got cut off. Listen, Al, I can't cover that play tonight. That's all there is to it. I can't.
Do you go to church? There's an Episcopalian church practically next door.
Well, I'm a Presbyterian. I used to.
Well, what's George doing in Bermuda? Well, of course I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my department, isn't it? Well, listen, you've got to get a hold of somebody. Look around the office.
Is there always this much noise?
Well, he doesn't live with us.
Well, look, how about that office boy? You know, the bright one, the one we don't like? Oh, look around and see if he's there. Oh, hold on.
I'd really like to see the room.
Well, it's upstairs, but first, why don't you try a glass of our wine?
I never touch it.
Well, it's elderberry wine. We make it ourselves.
Hello, oh, come on. Well, how about that printer? You know, the guy who sends my copy? He's the third machine to the right. His name is Joe. He ought to know about what I'd write. But Al, he might turn out to be another Burns manhole.
You grow your own elderberry
Oh,
bushes?
no, but the cemetery is full of them.
No, I am not drinking, but I'm going to start now.
You serve meals?
Well, we might, but first see whether you like our wine. Oh, Mortimer! Mortimer, not that!
What are you doing? You want to get killed? You want to get poisoned? Get out of here! You can't do things like that. I don't know how to explain this to you, but not only is it against the law, it's wrong. It's not a nice thing to do. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
All I'm trying to say is, This is developing into a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't try to stop you from doing the things you like to do, so I don't see why you should interfere with us.
Hello? All right, Al. I'll see the first act and I'll pan the hell out of it. Now look, Al, you gotta do something for me. Get a hold of O'Brien, the lawyer, the head of our legal department. Have him meet me at the theater in half an hour. All right, now don't let me down, Al. All right, I'm on my way. Look, I've got to go to the theater. I can't get out of it. But before I go, I want you to promise me something.
Well, we have to know what it was first.
You know I love you very much. And I know you love me. And you know that I do anything in the world for you. And I just want you to do this one little thing for me.
What do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
I don't know. I've got something to think about and I need some time to think. You know, I wouldn't want anything to happen to you two.
Oh, what on earth could happen to us?
Anyway, you'll do this for me, won't you?
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Well, of course, you don't think we'd bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? He was a Methodist.
Well, can that wait till I get back?
Oh, then you could join us.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, Mortimer, you'll enjoy the services, especially the hymns. Remember how beautifully Mortimer used to sing in the choir before his voice changed.
And remember, you're not going to let anyone in this house while I'm gone. It's a promise.
Well, oh, I think we can promise. Now that Mortimer's cooperating with us, right, Mortimer?
All right, have you got some paper? There's a man I've got to see. I've got to leave right away.
There's some stationery there. Will that do?
Yes, this will be fine. I can save some time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today, did he?
Well, it's only natural. I think I know why.
Why?
He's just become engaged to be married. I suppose that always makes a man nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for Elaine, and their honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation. I don't think he got much rest this summer.
Well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
No, I could never understand why he wanted to go to those places.
Well, I think to Mortimer, the theaters always seem rather small potatoes. I think he needs something big to criticize. Something like the human race.
Well, Abby, you know, if Mortimer's going to come back for the funeral services for Mr. Hoskins, we'll need another hymnal. There's one in my room.
Oh, well, you know, I know it's my turn to read the services, but since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came, I want you to do it.
Do you really want me to? Oh, Abby, that would be so nice. Are you sure?
Oh, well, it's only fair.
Well, I think I'll wear my black bombazine and Mother's old brooch.
Oh, how heavy, dear.
Oh, Abby, we promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anybody in.
Who do you suppose it is?
It's the two men, and I've never seen them before.
Are you sure?
There's a car at the curb. They must have come back. Do you recognize them?
No, they're strangers to me.
You'll just have to pretend that we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth, Doctor. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I can't wait to escape back into it.
Yeah, makes a fine hideout, Johnny.
Evidently, the family still lives here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope the fatted calf has been prepared for the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Look, Johnny, drinks.
Yes, as if we were expected. A good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, it's me, Jonathan.
You get out of here.
No, but I am Jonathan, your nephew, Jonathan.
No, you're not. You're nothing like Jonathan, so don't pretend you are. You just get out of here.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Einstein.
Oh, he's not Dr. Einstein either.
No, he's not Dr. Albert Einstein. He's Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see you're still wearing that lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought in England. And Martha, still that high collar where Grandfather's acid burned you.
His voice sounds like Jonathan's.
Have you been in an accident?
No. Oh, my face. No, that's Dr. Einstein's responsibility. You see, he is a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
That face. Do you remember that scary movie we saw with the little Schultz boy? It was that face.
Easy, Johnny. Don't worry, ladies. In the past 3 years, I gave Johnny 3 new faces. I gave him another one right away. That was his last face. I saw that movie just before I operated, and I was intoxicated.
You see what you've done, Doctor? Even my own family.
Johnny, you're home in this beautiful house. How often he was telling me about Brooklyn, about this house, about his dear aunties that he loves so much. They know it's you, John. Please, you know it's Jonathan. Speak to him, please. Tell him so.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a long time. What have you been doing all these years?
Yes, Jonathan. Where have you been?
Oh, England, South Africa, Australia, the last 5 years in Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business together.
Oh, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair.
We found Chicago awfully warm.
It got a little hot for us, too.
Well, it is wonderful to be back in Brooklyn again. Abby, Martha, why you don't look a day older. You haven't changed a bit. You're still as I remember you. Sweet, charming, hospitable. Oh, and little Teddy, did he ever go into politics? My little brother, Doctor, always wanted to become president.
Teddy's fine, just fine. And Mortimer's quite well, too.
Yes, I know all about Mortimer. I've seen his picture at the head of his column. Obviously, he's fulfilled all the promise of his early nasty nature.
Well, we're very fond of Mortimer.
Oh, Jonathan, it's been very nice to have seen you again.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Well, Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
Yes. Oh, Jonathan, if you'll excuse us for just a minute. Unless you're in a hurry.
Johnny, where did he go from here? You got to think fast. The police have pictures of that face. I got to operate on you right away. We got to find some place for him. And we got to find a place for Mr. Spinazzo, too.
Don't waste any worry over that, rat.
But Johnny, we got a hot stiff on our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinoza.
Johnny, you can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You didn't kill him, Johnny. He was a nice guy. He gives us a lift, and then what happens?
He said I look like Boris Karloff, Doctor. That's your doing. You did that to me.
No, we find some place, Johnny. I fix your pig.
Tonight.
No, Johnny, not tonight. I'm hungry. I got to eat something. I'm weak.
Jonathan, we're very glad that you remembered us and that you took the trouble to drop in and say hello. But you were never happy in this house. we were never happy while you were in it. So we've just come in to say goodbye.
Well, Abby, I can't say that your feelings towards me come as a surprise. I've spent many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have caused you as a boy.
Well, you were quite a trial to us, Jonathan.
But my real disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. You see, I promised him that no matter how rushed we were while passing through Brooklyn, we would stop by here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid it wouldn't be enough.
But Abby, it's a pretty good-sized pot roast.
Pot roast?
Oh, well, yes. I guess the police.
Good, then we'll stay to dinner.
Well, we'll hurry it along. Jonathan, if you want to freshen up, why don't you use the washroom in Grandfather's old laboratory?
Is that still there?
Oh, yes, just as he left it. Well, I'll help Mark in the kitchen, since we're all in a hurry.
Well, at least we get a meal.
Grandfather's laboratory, Doctor. And just as he left it, it's the perfect operating room.
Oh, it's too bad he can't use it.
After you finish with me, that will make a fortune. Grandfather's laboratory, that large ward in the attic. 10 beds, Doctor. And Brooklyn is crying out for your talent.
Trying to convert yourself up. I mean, for Brooklyn, for a year too late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everyone in Brooklyn could use a new face.
So many of the old faces are all locked up.
Only a small percentage. Besides, the boys in Brooklyn are very famous for paying generously to stay out of jail.
Oh, take it easy, Johnny. Besides, your aunties, they don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner.
I'll handle that. Leave that to me, Doctor. You know, this house could become our headquarters for years.
Oh, that would be beautiful. This nice, quiet house. And those aunties of yours, those dear sweet ladies, I love them already. I'll get the bags, yeah.
Wait one moment, Doctor. We haven't been invited.
Yeah, but you just said them.
We'll be invited.
Why did they say no?
Two helpless old woman, Doctor.
It'd be like a dream come true. Only I hope you're not dreaming. Oh, this house is so peaceful.
Yes, Doctor. That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful.